I understand that this thing you're about to hear, or what I'm about to talk about, may not be a big deal for some persons, and to those persons it would not be bad. I would not say you're looking at it from the wrong point, because your opinions would be very valid too. But for people that went through so much like I did at some points in their life that they gave up, we actually get to record every milestone, and celebrate our successes. So if you're in that position, then this video is for you. Okay? Welcome back to my channel, The Deliberate Mind. My name is Dorcas Andrew, and I'm happy to see you again. To returning subscribers, you already know what we do here, and you always know that I always say thank you for seeing you. It's not easy to watch somebody and be dedicated to watching them. Thank you for returning always. And then if you're a newbie, thank you, you're welcome. All you have to do is to click the like button and then subscribe to this channel. Then to always get notifications, like to get notified each time I come on, you will need to put on your bell, your notification bell. It's just beside the subscribe button there. Thank you once again. And then for the newbies, I'd like to say that this is the Deliberate Mind. Slogan here is yielded and deliberate. Yielded to Christ and deliberate with our actions. And I am your host. I am Dorcas Andrew. Alright, today we are going to be talking about the power of your imagination. The power of your imagination, the power of my imagination. Like on this channel, what I do is to use real life stories, probably stories that happened to me or people who are very close and have allowed me to use their stories as illustrations to teach other persons. So on this episode, I'm going to be using my story. At 29, because I just clocked 31, 2 years ago, I lived in Port Harcourt, Nigeria. I was a teacher. I don't know if you know about this empath thing. I was an empath teacher, but then I was also a French teacher going from one school to the other. There is an airport close to where I was living before, a little close. Like I had to take that way to my area of my PPA, my area of my primary, area of primary assignments. So this airport, I would always go by the airport, but then I had nothing in my life to do with an airport or an airplane, but I was always going past one. A day came when I was 2 years ago, and I said to myself, nobody in my house had taken a plane ride before, like I traveled by air before. And I'm 29. I've always dreamt, like since I was small, I would always tell myself that I would travel to so many parts of the world. So I said to myself, Dorcas, if you would travel to so many parts of the world, why is it that at 29 you've not flown in a plane before? Then it began to disturb me, and I began to, while passing through that place, the airport, I can remember one day, because it's a very far distance kind of, so we'll take a bike, two people on a bike, and I was with another teacher, and I told the teacher, I said, I don't know why I keep going past this airport and I have never even gone into it. I said no, I would fly in a plane before this year ends. That was 2 years ago. That was in 2019. I would fly in a plane before this year ends. That was the beginning of 2019, and she laughed at me. I can remember her very well. I can recall her very well, and what transpired that day. Then she smiled and she was like, fine. Maybe she said she was not dreaming of something like that or something. And I would always, look at that place while passing. So casually, because I had already had my international passport even 2 years before then, but of course I did not do anything with it like most Nigerians would just keep it. At that point, it's not like I could not afford 20-something thousand to fly in a plane or something, but I had so many other things to do, and with a salary of maybe 50,000 or 60 after the Empower and some other things you get to do, and you bring in just 60k per month. You pay your rent. Of course, you don't pay rent every time, but you have to save towards it and do so many other things. So you're not thinking of going to spend 20,000 or 20 something to 30,000 on a plane, maybe from Port Harcourt to Lagos. No, you would want to take a vehicle of 4, 5 or 5,000 naira for Nigerians who understand this. So, but then I had people around me. I had a senior friend, and one day I mentioned it. I was like, do you know I've not flown in a plane before, and I really want to. I really do want to fly in a plane. And my friend was just a friend, a senior friend. I was like, really? And then a few days later, because he wasn't around, he came back and he was like, Doctor, come. Then I went to meet him where he was, and then right there we booked my first plane ride, what was going to become my first plane ride. That was from Port Harcourt to Lagos. He said, when it's holiday time, you can take this and then go to see your daughter. Oh my God, you need to see how I acted that day. I was mad. I was excited. It was an exhilarating moment for me. And when August came, that was, I think we booked a month or 2 months ahead. And when that date came, yours truly actually bought a new dress, oh my God, and flew in a plane for the first time. That happened and I enjoyed it. I was like, oh my God, this is something I should continue doing, because it's not good that you should keep living the traditional way. You don't even think. At least life cannot be a one-way thing. You have to think around the box. People who are flying, doing great things, and they don't have two heads. I said, I'll do this sooner than or soon enough. And then 2020 came with all its baggages, issues. In short, that 2020, it didn't look like there was anything good coming out of it, because I stopped working. Empire stopped us, the place we were working. And then I was tired of being a French teacher in different schools. I stopped. I started selling clothes. It was rough. But then I still kept seeing something like, no. I want to be different. I want to stop being just a teacher and do something else, And then something led to the other, I got another, that was an international travel last year, and it was to Cote d'Ivoire. And then it was somebody paid for me. It was a trip that was paid too. And then some things happened, I couldn't stay, I left. And what am I just saying? I don't need to go into details. This year again, I've made another international travel, and this afternoon I was just thinking about, I was summarizing the whole, and I said, Doctors, do you know that the 2 international travels you've made and the 1 national travel journey, you haven't paid for any? What am I trying to say with all this? The point I'm trying to draw, or I'm trying to bring out, is that at 29, I hadn't flown in a plane, and I didn't even have hopes of doing so because I could not really afford that. But right now, at 31, because I was able to imagine myself, I was able to say, no one has flown in a plane before in my house, and I am 29. If you should want to make a difference, you should start to make it now. And now I've done 3 journeys. I've not paid for any. 2 international, of course, still in Africa. I'm still in Africa. 2 international and 1 national. And that is my point today, the power of your imaginations. So many persons, because of what you are going through, or of what they're going through, they cannot see beyond the present. They cannot see beyond the predicaments they're in, the situations and the situationships. Of course, there's nothing like situationships, pardon me. The situations they're in, they cannot look beyond it. And they can't dream, they can't imagine. And they keep saying, oh, this, that, it's never going to be better. And they settle for less because they feel there is no hope for something better. They don't only settle for less, some people go ahead to commit suicide. And that is what I am trying to say today, that whatever you are able to imagine, you can get it. I don't care how poor you are. I don't care how bad your situation is, because you see, after that 2 years ago, I was nothing to write home about. Like, everything around me, my situation was nothing to write home about. But I've always been a dreamer since I was little. I've always imagined it, pictured it. And even right now, I'm still in Africa, but I can still picture the fact that I will go around the world and it will happen because I can see it. Whatever you can imagine, you can get it. You can get whatever you can imagine. Of course, you don't just start dreaming and go to sleep. No, you dream, like you imagine, You go to work and you pray. Like I always emphasize, life is more spiritual than it is physical. So when those situations want to swallow you, you run to a God that is bigger than your situations. And when you run to God, the God that is bigger than your situations, you also work. You make researches, you study. Yes, some people say, oh, I can go to school, it's expensive. And I made them understand that my postgraduate diploma in French, I did it like single-handedly. I have a BSc already, but I was able to do a postgraduate diploma on my own. And at that time, I was paying a child's school fees with my salary of 50 to 60,000. I suffered, but I was able to realize that. And I had, at the point while doing my PhD, I said, wow, whatever our parents did, they did it well. Parents who trained 5 to 6 children in the university. Forget the fact that, I said, these people tried. What I am saying, what I will keep saying is that if you can picture it, like you can dream, you can imagine it, if you can pray about it, if you can walk towards it, you can achieve it. Enough of the excuses, enough of the living in mediocrity because you think nothing can come out of anything you do. No. If there are people to be intentional, then you can see that there are people too that are working on the path of success. It might not happen automatically. It's not a mechanical, like it's not something that will just come to you immediately. But if you can be consistent, if you can be focused, if you can picture where you want to go to, you will be so surprised how fast you will achieve your aims, your dreams. And then you would be able to get, when you get there a little, like when you get to where you were dreaming of being, you'll be like, oh really, I did it. Like right now, I'm still in Africa, but guess what? I have other big dreams. And I know that someday they will come to pass because I will not relent. Number one, I will not stop praying because prayer is my first thing in life. Like I've experienced so much that I know that, Dorcas, if you cannot pray, you will never rise. So, I don't know what the situation is with you, but like I'll always tell you, there is hope for you. If you can imagine it, you can get it. Made 3 travels since I began to be very determined to travel, and I've not even paid for any of my trips. Isn't that wonderful? Nothing is impossible. And like I said at the beginning of this thing, it might not be a big deal for some persons, but for people like us who have gone through a lot, believe me, we celebrate all our little wins because we know where we came from. And I want to tell you, go and dream, go and imagine, go and picture what you want, go and walk towards it, and go and pray. God is rooting for you. And then I love you. I will always be here encouraging you in my little way because I know that there is hope for you and for myself. My name is Dorcas Andrew. I love you. I'll always be here for you in my own little way. Ciao, ciao. Bye.